All livestock breathes, and by virtue of taking a breath and expelling a breath, they're emitting carbon. And there's an unnatural number of animals in the world today.
What is natural about bringing to life 66 billion animals per year, only to slaughter them for our clothes and our food? You know, we're raising 10 animals per person in the whole planet, and we're pumping them full of antibiotics and making them live, you know, side by side, and they can't turn around and all that kind of stuff, you know. There's nothing natural about that.
At the same time you have this buildup of animals on the Earth's surface, you have a decline in the forest. And so the whole source to sink relationship has been disrupted. And so you have to count that emissions of carbon that's breathing. So once you do that, you get this 51% figure. If you can reduce by 25% animal protein consumption globally by 2020, you can meet the international protocols and targets that have been set for greenhouse gas emissions reduction just by that single action.
There are predictions that this number is going up because of countries like China, maybe reaching 100 billion animals each year we produce. So that would be a catastrophic scenario. And what we have to find is we have to find alternatives so that we can prevent this from happening. You have, in average, on global average, you have to use 7 calories of feed to produce 1 calorie of meat, for example. And by that you have to have huge areas to produce the feed for the animals.
30% of all land mass in the world is dedicated to animal agriculture. And about 80 to 90% of all grains and legumes grown in the United States goes to feed livestock.
Imagine if that were devoted to fields of protein, where it could be, right? And those were very efficiently produced, or turned into rather, into meat. How many more people we could actually feed?
Liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission to build.
That's one small step for man, giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, so I spent about 7 years across sub-Saharan Africa. I lived in Liberia, Nigeria, and Kenya, and South Africa, and Ethiopia. And it really strikes you when you're there that a central challenge is, how do we figure out how human beings, our fellow humans, can thrive without destroying the planet?
We're going to be 2 billion people more by 2050, and more importantly, a lot of these people will be more affluent, fortunately, than they are now. And so they will be able to buy more meat and buy more food in general.
If we replace the animal products with plant-based alternatives, we have to use less area because we shorten the food chain. First of all, if we eat animal products, we have the plants, then the animal, which uses most of the calories for its own metabolism and produces excrements, and just a small amount of meat, for example, and then we eat it, okay? It's much more efficient if we eat the plants directly, or the plant products. So if we leave out the animal products, we can on the same area we can produce more food, or we can use the freed up areas to do something positive, like producing something else, or having natural vegetation which could take up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and, you know, like stabilize the climate and so many things. So it would be much more reasonable to do something else than to do that wasteful system.